Well, a little bit of movement, but it seems like 1 and 2 have pretty much been chilling there all year.
Yeah, Grayson just fell off at the map, huh?
They did. We'll show it later. They're going to be in the next 5. So, but you lose to a team that wasn't ranked. Their best win was probably against a team that's not ranked either in Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it sounds like we're on. I can hear it. So
that's right. We'll give it a little bit more time. Here we are. We are live, and we'll wait for the rest of you to join in as we're talking high school football rankings like we do every Monday, Zach, and it's pretty obvious how we have to kick off this show because the biggest game all weekend was Mater Dei St. John Bosco, and kind of what you expected.
That's weird, dude. I did say 31-21 final, and that's what happened. You know, sometimes I know what I'm doing, I guess.
Yeah. So
all luck.
So Mater Dei has really proven that they deserve to be #1 right now until someone can take them down.
Yeah, and let's pull up the rankings real quick before we get into that Mater Dei game. And you know, they're 1, IMG's 2, but I have Mater Dei in a class by themselves right now.
Okay.
Listen, IMG's loaded. They have a great defense. They have a great running game and a big-time offensive line. The quarterback position is a big issue for IMG Academy. You look at Mater Dei, you got JT Daniels under center, arguably the best quarterback in all of high school football. You have a great offensive line. Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best playmakers. He had over 200 yards, had a punt return touchdown. The defense is loaded. I mean, they don't have a weakness. And I look at IMG, they have a weakness, and it's the quarterback position. But they're still good. They're #2 in the country. But I just have Mater Dei in their own class right now.
All right, Mater Dei, and they knocked off St. John Bosco this weekend. We got some highlights we want to roll, and we'll talk about that game. As this guy's pretty good, the QB.
Yeah, JT Daniels, 2019 SC commit. He's the #1 quarterback in the entire 2019 class. He had over 300 yards passing, but the thing that's been so impressive with JT this year is his wheels. He had over 100 yards rushing against one of the best defenses in high school football. And, you know, JT Daniels already owns all of the Orange County, Santa Ana area records. You know, includes quarterbacks like Sam Darnold, Matt Leinart. The list goes on and on. JT Daniels has all those records. This is what impresses me the most with Mater Dei this year, though, is the defense. Solomon Tuliau-Papu, you know, one of the best linebackers in the 2018 class. He had 2.5 sacks last week against Bosco. They had 7 sacks as a team. And, you know, most people thought Bosco would win the line of scrimmage battle. That's been their bread and butter, you know, ever since Negro's been there. Not on Friday, man. Mater Dei was owning the line of scrimmage. Mater Dei, they're a very good team. Bosco stays in the top 10, though. You know, they lost. They competed with Mater Dei. They held them to a season low, 31 points. But, you know, Bosco's still good. DJ Ugalele made his first career start, and he had his moments, too. The offensive line just couldn't give him enough time. Bosco's offensive line, too, they suffered a big injury in that game, so that kind of factored in the 7 sacks also.
Yeah, and Eddie says JT is a dual threat QB. He's kind of shown it the last, this season, really.
Before this year, no one thought he could run like this.
Yeah.
And then he goes for 100-plus yards against St. John Bosco. I mean, it's pretty impressive what he's doing.
All right, what's up, Larry? As always, Edwin says, go Mater Dei. They're looking good. Question, no Mississippi teams ranked.
Yeah.
So
I got my eyes on a few Mississippi teams, but
okay.
You know, it's been tough to have to move on from Cam Akers, who was a stud last year at Clinton High School. Yeah. So there's a couple teams I got my eyes on, though.
All right. Joe wants to know, have we ever thought about separating public and private school rankings? Because there's some great public schools out there that don't get to creep up because of these private schools.
Yeah, I mean, we've considered it.
Yeah, we do it with basketball with the academy schools.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think with football too I don't know. A lot of public schools will play private schools too, so sometimes the public schools even win. I don't know. I don't like changing anything with the way we have it right now. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, so. It's really tough because some private schools out there are not good at football, right? And some public schools can be really good. So it's a tough one for sure because these private schools are allowed to play for state titles and they're in the mix with the public schools. So it would really be tough to kind of separate those out.
There's definitely a lot of pros and cons, though. I mean, I understand the other side of it, But I just don't think there's a reason to change what we're doing. I think it's working out pretty good.
Yeah, but Joe, we totally understand the question and the feedback on that for sure, because it is something we discuss here, and it's always discussed, and some states do separate the privates and publics, but like Texas, right, the public schools are the dominant schools for the most part. So it's very state by state, so it'd be really tough to do, that's for sure. All right, why do you think Mater Dei didn't schedule IMG? So, I mean, we don't.
It could have been, I don't know why IMG didn't schedule Mater Dei also,
right.
you know. But I wish that game would happen. We saw the same thing last year with Bishop Gorman and IMG Academy. Those were the two top teams in high school football, in my opinion. It'd be nice if we could get them to play in like a Super Bowl type of high school football game. That would be ideal. But, you know, I think if they did play, I would probably pick Mater Dei. I just think the quarterback position's the difference. Last year with IMG Academy, they had Kellen Mond, who broke the school record for most passing touchdowns and most rushing touchdowns in a season. They've missed him. He's the starting quarterback for Texas A&M as a true freshman this year, and they haven't really been able to replace Kellen Mond, and I think that's been the big difference with IMG. But they got a stacked defense led by Xavier Thomas, who might end up being the best player in the NFL from the 2018 class. So,
all right, let's pull up the rankings here real quick too, and some things that people might not realize is IMG is currently sitting at 2 right now, but IMG's season will end around game 10 or 11, while the other schools, you know, someone like Allen or even Corona Centennial, DeSoto, these guys are going to continue to play 5 or 6 more games.
And win or go home games too.
Exactly. And so IMG is sitting at 2 right now, but other teams, like the team we're talking about next, Corona Centennial, could move up.
The only problem that's tough with Centennial is they lost to IMG, but at the same time, if Centennial can beat 2 teams like Bosco and Mater Dei, and then you factor in that this guy right here throwing the football got hurt early in that game against IMG Academy, Tanner McKee, I think maybe if he doesn't get hurt in that game, they find a way to win that game, because they were hanging in there with the 3rd-string quarterback against IMG Academy. IMG ended up pulling away in the 4th late. But Centennial, the thing that's impressed me is obviously, you got Tanner McKee, the number 2 pro-style quarterback in the class of 2018. The defense. This is the best defense they've had since back in the day in 2008. And
when you have a good defense with that offense, you're going to be in games.
Yeah, you know, this is probably the best defense they've had since Vontez Burfict was back there with Centennial. So
saw that game live when he beat De La Salle.
Wow, that was a good team.
Yeah, it was a good team.
Quarterback Taylor Martinez, pretty good too. But hey, you know, Corona Centennial this year, they're averaging 56.8 points per game. So
that's pretty good.
If Mater Dei doesn't have the best offense, it's because of the boys down in the Inland Empire. So
and the difference between your rankings and the human versus the computers, the computer rankings look just at the score, and so IMG is going to be ahead of Centennial. But like you talked about earlier, you got to take in the fact that the quarterback went down, and the quarterback,
not just
the quarterback,
right? It's Tanner McKee.
It's Tanner McKee. So IMG beat them. But sometimes just because you win doesn't mean you were the better team. You just happen to have the best player on the field go out.
And let's pull the rankings up real quick. We just love throwing curveballs to our guy Sproul there, producing the show.
And he's training another, back there as
so we got to get her on board too. But a team like DeSoto, a team like American Heritage, you look at Allen, even a team like Ben Davis, man. Ben Davis, they want to play IMG Academy. They're trying to get that game to happen after their season's over, so we'll see if that potentially happens. But all those teams have a chance to surpass IMG Academy at the end of the year. I mean, just not winning a state title and playing in the playoffs and going through that affects your rankings at the end of the season. We saw last year with DeSoto. They won the Texas 6A D2 championship, and they ended up passing IMG Academy at the end of the year for that number 2 spot. Nobody was passing Gorman last year. So
yeah, for sure. All right, Tommy wants to give a shout out to the South Point Red Raiders in North Carolina. Brenda Abernathy Antelopes having another great season. Congratulations to them. Some Florida running backs. Any come to mind for you? Or?
Well, obviously James Cook. Okay. He's nice. One's playing tonight, Brian Sneed, Ohio State commit, and Armwood's taking on Plant, a big-time game in the Tampa area. Both teams undefeated. He's a stud. And, Lorenzo Lingard had a big game last week. I could go on and on. Trey Sanders.
All right, see,
Kane.
he's the man right there. I was hoping he didn't get stumped on that, but he got it.
If you maybe would have said like Montana, I might have, but Florida, come on.
All right, you got Florida. All right, yeah, Edwin.
Sorry, Montana.
Edwin agrees modern day and IMG would be epic.
Yeah.
Starkville High School in Mississippi is really good.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on them. Ben Davis High School, obviously you like Ben Davis.
They keep moving up every week, man.
Moving up. Mission Hills in San Diego.
Okay.
Good school there for sure.
619.
Another South Point shout out. Ben Davis again coming in.
We're gonna even talk about him too. So.
Oh, well, shoot, man.
We get the people happy, you know.
Teeing us up. And then some 8-man and 6-man show. We should have an 8-man and 6-man show. It is interesting to watch.
We can do the top 8 rankings.
Yeah, especially 6-man. If you've never watched 6-man, it's a
lot of points, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely a different game, but still football, and especially for those schools that cannot field enough players for 11-man. It's a great alternative for sure. So, Darius, we love all types of football, not just 11-man. All right,
have some on the top plays every once in a while
we could,
too.
yeah, for sure. We had an epic one the other in our top plays of September, game winner there. All right, let's talk about a Texas school in Allen, and we kind of mentioned them before about they could potentially move up the rankings. What do you got on Allen?
I mean, all they've done during the regular season is win 50 consecutive regular season games. They haven't dropped a regular season contest since 2012, and Steve, I strongly believe this is the best and most talented team Allen has had since Kyler Murray led them to 3 straight state titles. You got Grant Tisdale at quarterback. He's one of the top dual threat prospects in the class of 2019. Theo Weiss, 5-star. He's arguably the best receiver among all juniors. You got Carson Sheckler on the other side. And then you got my guy Brock Sturgis, a 2018 Arizona State commit. Might be the best running back in Texas. And the defense is loaded, man. You got Jernigan on the D-line. You got a great secondary. This Allen team is very good. And them and DeSoto keep moving up each week. They're playing really well. Allen, undefeated this year so far, but you know what? They got to get that state title back. It's been since 2014, the last time they won. So this team's talented enough where they can do it, but winning a Texas state title in the largest classification is not an easy task.
No, it's not. All right, Fort Dorchester, the Patriots out of South Carolina, 8-0.
Yeah, they're really good. They got that quarterback, DK Joint. He's a stud.
All right. See, he knows his stuff. West Point in Mississippi. Palo Duro out of Amarillo, Texas, getting some love. Cleveland Central, best team in Mississippi, so just watch out for them.
Okay.
Manville, Texas, over Fort Bend Marshall.
Hey, they got this cat, Jalen Preston, stud.
All right. Kyle wants to know about some Alabama teams. Hoover's always on the border.
Yeah, Hoover's right there. It affects them too with Grayson going down.
Yeah, it does.
Because that's one of their losses. Their only loss actually was to Grayson. So, it would have been better for them if Grayson kept winning. So, we lost to a team that's ranked in the top 5.
Right. Yeah, that did hurt them for sure.
So that affected them a little bit too. So.
All right, Brett says Mater Dei has to win the CIF title this year for this to be a real successful season, since they haven't won it since 1999.
They haven't even played since the CIF bowl game started. They haven't even played in one of those games yet.
Right.
So, they've had some very talented teams. I strongly believe this is the best Mater Dei team they've ever had.
All right, Wake Forest in North Carolina, they're very good. Watch out for them.
Yeah, they're good every year.
Thomasville High, 7-0. All right, congratulations to them. 2A Texas, De Leon. Watch out for them too.
De Leon, I like it.
De Leon. All right, a lot of Ben Davis comments coming in, so let's talk about Ben Davis.
Let's talk about him, man. The thing that's most impressive with the boys from Indy is just the way they're beating the top teams from the state of Indiana. They've just dominated. They handed Warren Central its worst loss since 2008 earlier this season. They were 10 last week. They move up 3 spots to 7. They've outscored the opposition 424 to 123 this year. I'm not good at numbers, so I use my calculator. They're winning by an average margin of 33.4 points per game. So they're just rolling folks here in 2017. You got Reese Taylor, 2018 Indiana commit at quarterback. He's on the short list of players considered National Player of the Year. You got Johnny Adams in the backfield. You got Brock Thompson. You got Sir Zion Dance. Best name in high school football.
You can't beat that.
Leading the defense. So this is a loaded team, man.
All right, props to Crystal City on winning their big rivalry game. Sherwin says, do a story on Haywood High Tomcats in Tennessee.
Okay.
All right.
Mitch,
they're
you watching?
awesome team, and they're on their way to the first ever state title. So definitely one to keep an eye on. All right, Deborah says we have a great coaching, but not a lot of interest in playing. Too many kids playing other sports and afraid of concussions. But please come to Greenville, South Carolina. All right. Well, it is
that's a tough position, you know, because you do see the CTE scan, you see everything. You know, it's getting out there more.
Yeah.
So I respect a kid's decision if he wants to go ahead and maybe play another sport, but there's nothing like the game of football for sure, especially when it comes to building team unity, and obviously it's fun to play too.
Yeah, and one thing about football, it's one of the very few sports in high school sports where everyone can play.
Yeah.
Not everyone can be on the basketball team, not everyone can be on the baseball team or whatever. Football, there are no cuts, and so you're a part of a team, and obviously I'm a big believer in high school football, and I understand the negative sides of it as well. So it's a tough one.
There's a lot of positives too, though. So.
It is. So either way, it's the decision of the parents and the kid.
Yeah.
So respect your decisions, and I know, Deborah, that's a tough one for sure when you can't field the team. All right, let's finish the show off with the team who knocked off the current 3 team before this week, and that was Grayson.
Yeah, Archer rolls in this week. They go from unranked to number 22. One of the best stories in all of Georgia. I don't think a lot of people, even in Georgia that are watching these teams, getting ready for the season, had Archer being 7-0 at this point. They knocked off Grayson 6-3, the defending 7A state champs. Defense been the key for these guys, especially in the secondary. 4-star 2019 corner Andrew Booth had 2 big-time interceptions, including one late that led to that game-winning field goal. So Archer goes from unranked to 22 after beating a top 5 team in Grayson. Sproul, if you get a chance, let's pull up that next 5 graphic. And this is where Grayson
or
falls.
Michelle, maybe Michelle wants to do it.
I was hoping, did I put that in there? But, there's Grayson right there, and they're number 29. So, if they run the table, do well in the playoffs, win another state title, obviously they're going to probably jump right back into the top 15 around there. A couple other teams on this list. I know my guy CB, he's a big Sam Ellinger guy. Austin Westlake's there at number 30 now. They beat Lake Travis for the first time in 11 tries. They ended that 10-game skid. You got East, number 28. They started the year in the top 25. They're playing IMG Academy
and
this
I know
weekend.
There's some East fans out there.
I know. I had to throw them on here so people would stop yelling at me. And J. Sarah Catholic, they're number 26. They just dominated a very good Orange Lutheran team. Next up for these boys is Mater Dei. So we'll see.
You can prove you should be way up the rankings if you knock them off. That's for sure.
They got some studs, though. They got some playmakers. They can score. This might be a 50-40 type of ball game. I'm going to stop trying to predict scores. I'm just going to end with a 31-21.
Yeah, it's a walk-off.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Justin Turner,
All right, Knox Redskins, 8-1 record. Congratulations to them. That's their best season they've had, so congratulations to them. Martinsburg Bulldogs getting some love. Miami Central, the Rockets.
They're number 10, James Cook's a stud. They got a big game this weekend, too. Against Northwestern. The district title most likely is going to be on the line this weekend, so that's a monster game.
All right, Kenny, I see your shot out here, but I do not even want to try to pronounce that school in
give it a shot.
In New York. What do you think here? You got the better tongue than me on this.
Ticonderoga. I butchered that pretty bad.
See? All right.
I'm only good with Polynesian names. So.
All right. Well, 7-0. Congratulations to them, and sorry if we messed up.
Sorry, bud.
Your team name them, and then keep on going here. Keep the comments coming.
Yeah.
And we're gonna give some love and reply to as many as we can. We appreciate everybody tuning in and watching us. And the full top 25, you can check it out on MaxPreps right now, and you can also compare and contrast what the computer has versus what Zach. Some people agree with computers, some people agree with you, some people don't agree with either of them.
Yeah, I think we'll go with the latter.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Zack Poff, Steve Montoya, thanks for joining us here on MaxPreps and Facebook.
Little football.
Little football.